What up? By now you guys know my name is Juicin', and like I said before in the other video, this is all funded by the racers and the racers only, so we don't have a crazy big production team. We're doing the best we can. We're trying to make cool videos, so just be patient. And on a side note, for the most part, you guys dropped a lot of good feedback. The only ones hating were on the Chase is a Race. You all got to remember that Chicago for the past 25 plus years has always been Chase is a Race. That's how we do it. That's how we will always do it. So if you don't like it, don't know what to tell you, but we got to be different from the others, and we're going to stick to our roots. And like I said, it'll always be in my rule book, Chase is a Race. So stay tuned. All right, peace.
We did this shit in a controlled environment.
Don't be an idiot.
Don't do this shit at home.
When you grow up around cars in Chicago, there are three things you could be sure to find: street racing, gambling, and a fight between the Northsiders and the Southsiders, who is king of the streets.
Chicago has and always will be one of the small tire street scenes. We have been at it on the map since the 90s and featured on the first global DVD for street racing that had us going all the way to Florida, Texas, and Oklahoma. We also have and always will be about the hustle. If you have money, we don't care what you have. We'll spot you out 20 cars if the price is right. With cars getting as fast as they have, everyone got scared of their own shadows. What used to be quarter-mile racing is now evolved into eighth-mile racing. Everything is now a hat race. Basically, it's a winner-take-all, run what you brung, and hope you brought enough. So each driver has a buy-in that goes towards the pot. At the end of the race, it's a winner-take-all, and that guy gets the whole pot. We do still keep it street here by doing Chase is a Race. If two drivers line up, and one driver leaves before the light, and driver two chases, then it's game on, because Chase is a Race. If driver one leaves before the light, and driver two sits, driver two wins because he didn't move. This gives even the slow guy a chance of winning.
Is it going to be you draw left lane, you draw right lane? Or
Yeah, well, just it's a free-for-all now, so.
Well, so now if you get a left chip, you have a left.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't reach up in there. Come on.
We're going to anarchy, baby.
Next up, we got Daryl in a Chevelle versus Lieutenant Dan in a Mustang.
You might as well give up now. Think you got a chance, but I don't see how. Got a real tight grip when I hold that crown. My life been good and bad and all around. The more things I lost, the more I found. One thing I taught myself to do, no matter the problem, refuse to lose. So
nitrous car, he got a clean hit. Lieutenant Dan with his turbos was able to catch up towards the end. Next race is Swanko in his old school Camaro versus Palmer in the silver Mustang. ended up squeezing the win at the end.
I'm here to win. I ain't fucking letting out.
Hey, that was all worth it. I got to take $20 out of Vito's hands.
This race is Mork and Sidepiece versus Guy with the red rocket.
Yeah. He got
Yeah, no. Next car.
there was a little bit of on the right side.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Guy, even in his street car, ended up beating Mork in his race car.
They call us on the street, they call me senior, they call him junior, even though he's not a junior. Don't get it wrong.
This is what we love to do. Been doing it since I was 16. Every day, every weekend, we're either working on cars or racing cars. We love this shit.
Yeah, he's grown up with me at the track for 8 years old. He was at the starting line waiting for me to make passes, so he grew up on this stuff. And as my wife said, I created a monster, and we just kind of embraced it. And here we are, you know, out here having fun, you know, 27 years old, and I'm like 30 or so. So that's what we do. We come out, we race, have a great time, and enjoy it.
Next race is Pat in the GN versus Pete from DA in the Mustang.
Fucking bitch shit sitting at the line. That's how you fucking do it. You guys sit at the line all you fucking want.
I mean, he was like a cut hair away.
As you can see in this race, Pete sat at the line and Pat technically jumped. He caught a light, but unfortunately his light was 1/100,000th of a red light. So I didn't want to be the actual judge on it, so I took 3 big tire guys and let them do the best out of 3, whatever they decided.
Suspension can move. How do you think you cut an 000 light?
The car moved before the light came on. Right there.
Fucking way. I move with the fucking light.
You can see this. Do it again. You can do it again. Do it again. Watch. Right there. Yep, it cracked. Tire moved.
Make the call. We ain't gonna hate you. You think it cracked? You think it didn't?
The car moved.
Pat jumped and Pete sat. So Pete technically won. Pat wasn't happy about it, but even though Pat cut a 0.0000 light, he was that 1/10 or 1/1000th or 100,000th, whatever you want to call it, off, and he red lit.
Verdino and Vito!
Hey, let's go! Get off the starting line! Let's roll! They made the call!
We got Mikey V in his white Mustang street car versus Vito in the race car.
To you that you gotta watch it. Make sure you leave it everything you rock.
right lane got there. Was right there. Oh!
How much?
Hey, what's up?
Hell yeah!
Unfortunately, Mikey V didn't have enough to keep up, and Vito advanced to the next round.
Right over here and bust you up all day.
Hey, same thing, 30 minutes.
That worked out well already.
So right after this round, you see Notchback Chris going at it with Vito again.
Argument is the same age, so what's older?
Nick's older than we are. He's been street racing longer than all of us.
Okay.
He's a track racer now. Guess what? You grow the fuck up. You can't afford it. We make 6 figures. We can't afford to lose our life.
So wait, you guys are better than everybody else. Everybody else fucking does the same shit.
We make 6. Everybody's just as good as you are.
Okay, that's fine. We're not willing to risk it.
Chris telling him he will go into any other road and lock it in and race him right now. But unfortunately, Vito had a big excuse and didn't want to.
But if you want to go to that road over here, I'll take you down and I'll bust you the fuck up for any amount of money you got in your pocket. Tonight.
Okay, let's get this shit done.
Okay. We shut down on it.
Joey's the only one waiting. First one? One. Ooh. Oh, man. What's up, brother? Man. Ron and so you're up second, and then you guys chip up. So what do you get? All right, hey, let's do it right away.
Everything's on fire. Everything's on fire. I like my consequences.
This round, we got Guy in the Red Rocket versus Palmer in the Silver Mustang. Unfortunately, the footage didn't capture Guy hitting the curb and spinning at the end, but luckily he was able to save it. Palmer took the win, and luckily Guy was okay. This race is Vito versus Pete from DA. Unfortunately, Pete's street car didn't have enough to take on Vito. This race we have Wilson and his nitrous Camaro versus Lieutenant Dan.
You're gonna flash your lights, right? You're second. We're gonna come up.
point, the road was working. Wilson ended up spraying as much as he could, and you could see the car work, but just didn't have enough to take up the turbo car.
What the fuck are you doing?
Taking one from the bottom.
Put him in the hat.
Fucking put him in the hat. Take him up. Give me the
Put
fucking
it
thing.
in the hat.
Fucking
Why
redraw.
are you gonna fucking...
Pick it.
Why don't you put it in the hat?
What's so bad about it? We just mixed it up again. What are you looking
It's
at?
fucking weird. Why would you change it in the middle of an event? What do you...
Yeah, get in here. Tell me who's drawing. Who's taking the last one? We got Palmer or this one. So here, take it. Take whichever one you want. There's two of them in there.
This is about the gayest shit.
Yeah, why would you change it in the middle? It's weird.
There you go, sketchy bitch. You got the fucking buy.
Oh, cool. Oh, you want to redo it?
Yeah, let's redo it. No, we're gonna redo it.
No, I think we should put them back in there.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck it. It's really good. But it's just weird. What? Like, I wasn't here. He calls me all.
Because there's literally fucking 3 chips.
So then the semifinals, we have Lieutenant Dan versus Palmer, with Vito getting the bye.
But never again, back on our grind, you know what it is. Yeah, this is our year. Knock us down once, we got it again. Put in the work, so I know we gon' win. This is counting me out, counting me in. Feel like a fool, but never again. They boxing me out, I never fit in. Never will fold, never commit. Just wanna win.
So you can see at the end of the race, Lieutenant Dan has trans issues. This is where the shitstorm happens.
We'll run for fucking part of the pot. I mean, we'll do something like that. I'm not worried about that. I'm not trying to rob, but we're also not making. You're not making us race because somebody broke it.
Give him a chance to race.
Dude, if anyone else is in the shoes, it'd be the complete opposite way. Just don't.
100%.
I agree.
Hold on. Hold on. No, we're already done. We've already had the conversation. Juice it.
You can't have the conversation because it's his spot.
Well, he can't
Well,
make it in
everyone's
a
talking
30-minute
for him
turn
right now.
So how about
there's no rule on hour?
What do you mean? We had 30 minutes last time.
That was an hour.
Right.
There's no written rule. Why don't you do this? No written rules. Why don't we pay you half the pot? I will run my car. If I win, I'll give him the money. You rerun me in my car on this road.
We already fucking...
What do you mean, dude? I already let you guys in here and stop the argument instead of giving you your $400 back. We're giving you half the fucking pot.
So basically, I wasn't going to let this race end this way, where technically Lieutenant Dan was blown and Vito would automatically get the win. So we had another hour and a half left, and I told Lieutenant Dan that if he could find a transmission and get the transmission changed within that hour and a half, we would give him the chance to race Vito.
Susan thinks he's a punk ass bitch. Bending the rules like that. No, any fucking rules are reversed. Not one of these motherfuckers would have let us fucking fix the shit. And I got extra trans. I'll put a whole motherfucker in there. And it fucking not one person would let me do that.
Vito, you know why? Because you got a big fucking mouth. Because you're fucking swinging from Joey's dick driving your car. If you shut your mouth, they would give you the same respect.
Chucky, I'm just saying, if it was anyone else, if we broke our trans, it wouldn't be. You have 42 hours to put trans.
Yeah, but no, because of his mouth.
Okay, I understand.
What have I said?
Yes, I understand.
What have you said?
Yeah. Hold on. See how this moving on right now?
Move the car real quick. Just move the car real quick so we can drum that car.
Hey, get the shit like we need to stack.
Lieutenant Dan scrambled, and unfortunately he wasn't able to come up with it. So it was a win by default for Vito, and they agreed to lock in for the next race that we did first round. Next time on Chicago Street Kings, we change it up and actually do a day race. This time we actually have every guy that has a street car drive, and if they can drive, they'll get the hit against the race car.
We came to fight, we came to win. We lost before, but never again. Back on our grind.